Hi everyone, Bruce Swartz here. I'm from Montreal, Quebec, Canada. Finding UFOs, shooting lights out of them on the surface. Different sized objects, different, completely different. We have some dark objects, dark crafts, and you could see the light right here as these objects are coming out 360 degrees around it in a radius of about I'd say hundreds of miles, and they're coming out pretty fast. I had to slow it down for us to be able to see it. So there's definitely an interaction on the surface with the UFOs. So the UFOs are not just these are not just UFOs that are being seen between Earth and the moon because they're so pressed up onto the surface. Try to get some really nice new shots for you guys. Here's a close up of UFO, some type of object changing directions. But we're going to go see another better view of one in slow motion and as close as I have gotten yet. There it is. Really does look like the shape of a big mother craft, doesn't it? And now, don't want to scare you, but I think this would be one of the scout crafts. I don't know how big these objects are, but I tell you they're very big. Well, actually, I do know how big these objects are. The light, anyways, that you're looking at is about anywhere from 3/4 of a mile to 1.25 miles long, wide. So this is not a small object. It's one of many that I'm seeing over the surface. If anyone would have gone to the moon, I tell you what, they would have definitely seen these crafts and would have probably talked to us about them. See these lights? Those lights are pretty big themselves, probably just as big as the light that's shooting them out. But where are they going? What are they? What are they doing? I don't know. But just look at the proof that we have right now. See, they're scattered right now all over. So these are not pixels. These are UFOs all over the screen right now that are being shot out by that light that's right there. I had to detect which light it was. You'll even see at one point, I have showed before in a couple videos back, a line as it shoots through the surface cloud or haze that's there. It makes a clear line through the cloud or haze for, I'd say, about 50 to 60 miles. It's beside the craft. It can all be seen here, but again, further away. By zooming up, look at the lights. You see them? Do you see the lights all over here? Look at that. We're looking at least anywhere from 50 to 60 probably UFOs, and those are besides the ones that are under the haze. What about this one I showed a couple of days back? Those of you not seeing, those just arriving, these are UFOs on the surface, and that's what they look like with my 14-inch telescope and the camera at the back, DSLR. Now using the Nikon D850, we're going to catch so much. Now remember, as compared to, now this is, look, it's a formation, but it's not like these here that were going in zigzag shapes that I showed the other day. So we have different types of UFOs in also in formation. That's even scarier because that means there could be more than one group of beings, people, breakaway, whatever, civilization up there that are interacting with themselves. And, I'm really wondering, about the war that everyone's talking about. Some people are talking about, could there be fighting up there? I mean, hey, you got to wonder when you're seeing these lights shoot out. Hopefully they're not projectiles. But then again, if they're not projectiles, well, they're UFOs. It's sort of a lose-lose situation. If we don't win, either way it's scary. Whether it's UFOs that are being spit out on the surface or it's firearms, it's concerning both either way. We're going to get in real close, guys. Sinus iridum 2, all the bumps around sinus iridum where I showed you guys behind Bianchini crater with the other camera. Just wait till we zoom in and get a clear shot of this one. I seem to only have a part of sinus iridum in this footage. Didn't believe it myself that when I was lining up the telescope and walking away, it was bumping itself down a bit and I got cut off sinus iridum. But still, the half that I have is amazing, and I'm going to show it. I'm going to show where the astronauts landed, the Apollo 11 landing, which is right here in the blue in the bottom. I'll tell you what, there is a definite, almost square brown object exactly where they would have supposedly landed. And I'm not here to say that they did or not. I personally would think they would have had a hard time doing so. I have no confirmation that they did not. But let me tell you something. Looking on the surface, even though it's a 14-inch telescope and maybe not Lucifer from the Vatican, that telescope, we can still see pretty much detail on the surface, and the detail is pretty clear. Now think of it. It is, nothing high tech, but I am using that DA50. It's a $5,000 camera. It's expensive, and it's not for nothing. Obviously, you're paying for megapixels. All the cameras I've bought, every time the megapixels goes up, well, that's what you're paying for, plus some other, sometimes mumbo jumbo options that you don't even use in the camera. But as for the megapixels, it's definitely something we need to use. See this square here, this line on the ground, this outlining. Well, I was never able to see it myself aside from just being a white smudge. But now we're seeing that there's actual objects, natural or not, inside of these lines and along these crevices. And that is like in Bianchini crater, where the structures and what I believe are constructed objects are. They're over top of the objects that we're seeing. So we do have to get in a lot closer. But when we do, we see the beginning of those other structures. And it's pretty amazing. I've showed it with the D3400. So I can only imagine what we're going to be able to get with this one, the Nikon. So what's my situation? We're in Canada here, and it's Alaskan weather. Actually, Alaska's warmer now. It's bad. It's minus 30 degrees, but they're saying by next week it should go up over the sub-zero temperatures, but that's going to bring us a lot of sleet, freezing rain, and snowstorms again. I'm getting encouraged. I'm staying positive because, listen, in the blue there, that's where they landed, by the way, Apollo 11. We'll see it almost not double, but we're going to go in a lot closer as compared to this frame, which is already pretty close. But right there in the blue, in the bottom part, that's where they said that they would have landed. The surface I'm showing is very colorful, and it would have been very colorful if they were landing over top. I mean, could you imagine the view? Okay, look at this the way I'm panning right now, just like this. Could you imagine what they could see by sending a satellite over the moon? Seriously? On the surface, they could, if they have 5 or 10 satellites, for example, they could very easily document every single UFO passing by in front of the satellite and zoom up on it, pause it, and they could even follow it if you got people on the screens, at the central, actually using these satellites. Satellites up there, it's not just something filming and lost in space. They have contacts with these satellites, and they could see where they are. They can see what the satellites themselves and the images can see. They have various filters. I'm talking about Hubble, for example, has hundreds. Did you know that? It used to anyways have hundreds of color filters. Okay, so I don't use color filters. If I use a color filter, sometimes it's necessary, yes, to be able to see better detail on the surface. But in general, I'm adjusting the exposure. These colors are naturally on the surface. So again, the satellites are seeing just exquisite details, obviously, of the surface. But we're going to do the same, guys. And those just arriving, I found a type of possible biological life creature, or maybe they're just UFOs on the surface. I've seen debris, possibly the space station over going between Earth and the moon. I've seen that. So a lot more to come, because with this new camera, guys, it's going to be absolutely incredible. So yeah, those just arriving, go back in the videos, please, to check the abundance of UFOs that I am finding on the surface, and it's every time I go up. So can I get as risky as calling these daily UFOs? Absolutely, because there's not one time that I go up that I do not find a UFO, more than one UFO, inside of my raw footage. So now we go along the Terminator line beyond Tycho Crater. You can see on the left there the white crater coming up. Beautiful. And notice as we're going by Tycho, we could see the, very rare, by the way, we could see all around the crater of Tycho, all the mountainous objects around it. Guys, look at the smokes and hazes around some of the craters. We're going to be analyzing those to see if there's any changes. I'm so excited, and I'm sure we are going to see some changes. If there's a current, a wind current, or something up there, like John Lear says, definitely an atmosphere, we'll find out. What's this object sticking out of the ground on the surface of the moon? Let's go see some triangles, black triangles. There's 3 or 4 here in front of us, many symmetrical 90-degree angles, but check this one out. Sitting right there, and it's very wide, has 2 bumps on each side very evenly. Just looks like a TR3B sitting right there. Now let's go see Sinus Iridium.